Marvel Rivals has come out with over 30 heroes, so figuring out who you're going to main is going to take hours or even days. And luckily, I've been doing this Overwatch thing for a long time now. So if you're a washed Overwatch player like me, probably, and you want to copy paste your Overwatch main into Marvel Rivals, look no further. I've done all the hard work for you, so let's get it started. For D.VA, your first instinct may be to play Penny Parker because, I mean, look at their design. But honestly, Penny plays completely differently. So for playstyle, I actually think D.VA players would lean more into Hulk, who kind of dives in with the burst combo, and he also demechs or de-hulks back to Bruce Banner once he takes too much damage. DOOMFIST, more like Iron Fist. This one's an easy pick because both heroes are defined by their high mobility, burst damage, and disruption. For example, Iron Fist has the Kunlun Kick Gap Closer, similar to Doom's Rocket Punch, and the Dragon's Defense Stance to block attacks, which is similar to Doom's Power Block. There you go. HANZO isn't even officially released in Overwatch yet as of the making of this video, but the 3-day trial showed he's just an assassin-style tank that leaps in and punishes enemies out of position, and that sounds just like Wolverine. You gotta leap in, slash, kill, and punish. Junkrat Queen is defined by being in close range, chaining abilities like the knife pull into the axe, and sustaining herself with the shout and all the lifesteal from the bleeds. You always have to be hitting those abilities to keep up that lifesteal and sustain, which is why I think Queen players may enjoy Thor and Wolverine. Thor obviously doesn't shoot a shotgun, but he does have to get up close, continually sustain with his Thor Force passive, which is kind of like a commanding shout, and then sequence his abilities accordingly. Wolverine also has a similar playstyle as well. Aside from the leap, he's all about staying up close and keeping his version of Adrenaline Bleeds up, which is Berserker Rage, so that if he does get low, he gets that big sustain. Wolverine's ultimate is also kind of like a vertical rampage from Queen, if you think about it. MAUGA players just have to stand there and hold the firing button down, and Punisher might be the closest hero to that, where you just aim, fire, and go brrr. Punisher's ultimate does happen to literally transform into MAUGA's dual-wielding guns as well, so you got that. ORISA doesn't have a great one-to-one comparison to a Rivals hero, so with an aggressive all-in playstyle, I'd say you ORISA players may like Captain America. He sprints and then jumps, which is kind of like the gap closer for Orisa, where, you know, you spin into the enemies and stuff their face. And then Captain America can use his shield defensively against projectiles, which is kind of like using the Orisa spin defensively. And then he can throw his shield, which is kind of like Orisa's spear throw. RAMATTRA is defined by finessing two playstyles depending on the situation. You can sit and poke in the Omnic form or go all in with a bit of speed in the Nemesis form. So the best overlap is a bit of Captain America again, where you kind of chill for a bit before engaging. And then honestly, I would say even Magneto is a pretty good one to play as well, especially if he has the team-up synergy with Scarlet Witch active, which gives him that melee sword. The Magneto comparison is strangely accurate in a sense where you kind of just poke, right? And then you use your defensive tools like the bubble, like the shield, until you close the gap and then whack at them with your sword, kind of like RAMATTRA's punches. Unfortunately, REINHARDT's playstyle of shielding versus hammering is kind of decoupled in Rivals, where I'd say Doctor Strange has that shield Rein playstyle where he just walks around and defends his team with the big shield. But if you need that hammer bonking dopamine hit, you gotta play Thor. ROADHOG's hero identity is all about the hook, and the only hero in the game at this time that has something similar is Winter Soldier's bionic hook. Obviously, Winter Soldier is not a thick, burly tank with a lot of HP, so you're gonna have to play him with a lot more finesse. Every ability reloads his 3 ammo weapons, so you gotta fire your rounds, then go for the hook, and then go for some more shots to clean up the kill. I think Sigma's slow and methodical poke-style gameplay is exactly the same as Magneto's. You have a very similar primary fire with a very similar cadence. You have a shield you can put up, and an additional defensive tool, which is the Suck for Sigma, and then the Bubbles for Magneto. Honestly, even Magneto's ultimate is kind of like a glorified Sigma rock too, in a way, right? For Winston, I'd say the Hulk is the closest playstyle, but is a lot more aggressive. It's kind of like you're always primal raging when you're hulking. You have to hold your jump button to leap in, but once you're in, just continually smash the enemies, pop your defensive guard ability once in a while because that shields you and your teammates, which is kind of like a Winston bubble as well. Wrecking Ball players will easily find a home with Venom. The comparison is very close. You grapple in, slam into the enemies, and then pop the shield button when you get low for a ton of extra HP. Not much more to say here. For Zarya, I'd probably defer back to Magneto again because he does have that self and ally bubble, which makes for a really easy ability comparison. I know we bring up Magneto a lot here for the recommendations, but come on, there's only 8 tanks in the game right now. For Ashe, the easy hit scan option in Rivals is definitely Hela. You point and click and you're rewarded for great accuracy. However, Hela is much safer than Ashe with a much better escape ability since you're invulnerable as compared to Coach Gun, and her utility is an AoE stun, which is arguably better than the Dynamite depending on the situation. Bastion's a hero that goes brrr, so Punisher is your best bet to reward you for accurate aim tracking. Punisher also has a full-out stationary turret form, so shout out to the Overwatch 1 old heads who loved old Bastion. Cassidy is defined as a mid-range hit scan hero, and Winter Soldier actually fits that mold quite well. His fire rate is similar, and he has a low ammo count that reloads when you use any other ability, so similar to how Combat Roll reloads your weapon. The backup recommendation I have for a standard hit scan is of course Hela once again. With Echo being one of the 2 flying types in Overwatch, the easy 2 recommendations in Rivals is Iron Man and Storm. I'd lean more for Iron Man though because he does have a beam, which both Echo and him have overlaps on. Genji's defined by being a lethal opportunist with great vertical mobility and a gap closer, so there are 4 recommended heroes in Rivals that can do this, and in order, I'd actually recommend Psylocke first as she has dashes, 2 of them, and she can poke similarly in the neutral. Black Panther is next because of the dash resets, Spider-Man as well for similar reasons, though his mobility is actually on literal steroids with the web slinging, and for the 4th recommendation I'd even stretch it to Iron Fist for that whole gap close all-in style. Hanzo players will feel just at home with Hawkeye. Do I really need to elaborate on this one? You have fire arrows, you have a pseudo scatter arrow with the explosion arrows, and a double jump similar to his lunge. I will say though, I think Hawkeye is better than Hanzo in a lot of ways because he actually has defensive tools to protect himself when he gets dove with a katana knockup and a deflect within his melee. Junkrat players are absolutely gonna love the ricochet bouncy nature of Squirrel Girl. Absolutely fun and wild hero, probably my favorite with the flinging of the nuts. Squirrel Girl can also root enemies if she lands the acorn, similar to Junkrat Trap, which can hold enemies down in place for you to line up some extra shots. Mei is a pseudo tank in Overwatch, a real tank in Heroes of the Storm, but rest in peace to that game. In Rivals though, Groot would actually come kinda close with the whole walling thing because strategic placement can be the difference between losing and winning a team fight. Groot also has some poke damage in the primary fire, kinda like the icicles, and his ultimate roots people down similar to Mei's Blizzard. So for PHARAH, it's pretty similar to the Echo explanation. The flying archetypes are limited to Iron Man and Storm as my base recommendations. Iron Man may feel more familiar for PHARAH players since he's got the aerial pressure and nano pulse cannons, which feels way more like PHARAH's rockets. Storm's only similarity is the flying part, as she mostly plays as a support since most of her abilities enhance her teammates' abilities with the whole movement speed and damage boost. Still, I'd recommend you try them both out and see which one you like more. Reaper players may first default to Punisher simply because he does have a shotgun portion of his kit, but you're going to find yourself spending more time using his other weapons, so I'll include him in the recommended list, but I actually think Wolverine and Magic have a closer overall playstyle. For Wolverine, your leap is sort of like teleporting or wraithing in to close the gap, and then you continually claw slash similar to the shotgun blasting, then you have a way to self-heal and sustain. For Magic, you have to be up close to brawl and slash with your sword as well, but you have the ability to quickly dart in and out with the portals, and you can recover HP on hit as well. Sojourn's comparison is a mix between 3 rival heroes, Punisher, Hela, and Black Widow. Punisher's standard gun is Sojourn firing her SMG to build up charge, and then you have the Hela shots and Black Widow's unscoped shots, which are basically that full charge hit scan rail. Try all 3 out and see which one you like. Good old Soldier 76 with the classic run-of-the-mill rifle, so that means Soldier mains will eat well with the Punisher. Yet again, this one's self-explanatory. Sombra is Overwatch's stealth hero, and the hero in Rivals with a stealth-based kit, backline disruption, and assassination tools is Psylocke. What's funny is that Sombra's recent rework changed her permanent stealth down to a very short timer of 5 seconds, and Psylocke has a 3-second stealth. One easy combo for Psylocke is to actually stealth and then dash in and then pop her ultimate to AoE damage the entire team. Now does that kind of look familiar for Sombra players? You tell me. SYMMETRA's kit blends a bunch of heroes from Rivals together. The first one that comes to mind is Namor because he's the only hero in the game that gets to set up turrets that fire on their own. That might be the only close similarity because throwing the trident doesn't exactly feel like Symmetra's secondary fire. But if you like beaming people down to Symmetra, you may actually enjoy Scarlet Witch. And if you're a teleport lover, Doctor Strange has the global TP every 3 minutes, though he's in a completely different role as the tank. I'd recommend try all 3 out, see which playstyle resonates with you the most as a SYMMETRA player. TORBJORN has a similar rationale as SYMMETRA, where Namor is the best comparison because of the auto-firing turrets, though I will say, the projectile velocity of Namor's trident is much closer in resemblance to how TORBJORN spams his primary fire Cheetos, so this is definitely the top recommendation for me. Tracer is a real slippery, fast-moving hero with the pulse pistols, but luckily Star-Lord is actually a fantastic parallel to that exact ability kit. Star-Lord can dash and glide with high speeds, and his front flips are basically pseudo blinks. His weapon also shoots exactly like Tracer, so you'll be right at home playing Star-Lord. Venture players are getting shafted in the skin department in Overwatch, but at least Jeff from Rivals is guaranteed to be getting endless skins because look how cute he is. Jeff is in the support category, but has a lot of similarities to Venture, mostly in his version of Burrow to escape danger. Jeff's damaging projectiles also fire and explode out in a similar fashion to Venture's primary fire as well. It's Widow, Widowmaker, Black Widow. They're the same. Scope, aim, shoot.
No.
To me, Ana is fun because you have to choose whether you shoot your teammate or your ally, and Luna Snow is a perfect encapsulation of that. Luna also has the freeze projectile, which is comparable to Ana's sleep dart to either save you from a flanker or to open up a pick for your team. Now Cloak and Dagger is also up here as well. Her Dagger Storm AoE and Veil of Light Force are throwable healing objects which feel similar to the Biotic Grenade. When you swap into Cloak, the Terror Cape version kinda acts like the anti-nade version of the same ability. For Baptiste, definitely go with Rocket Raccoon because he just does what Bap does but better. His weapon is a hit scan and his heal grenade orbs are super forgiving as they just bounce everywhere. No need to precisely aim them. Instead of Immortality Field, Rocket can put down a field that actually reses somebody, a single use though, and it's automatic. It also spits out armor packs and speed packs. Rocket has better mobility than Bap with the wall climb and dashes, and his ultimate is also a damage amplifier, but instead of a big window you have to shoot out of, it's the old Overwatch 1 supercharger from ORISA. Brig's abilities are scrambled between multiple rival heroes, so try these 3 out. First we have Captain America for the whole shield bash and blocking. Next we have Adam Warlock with the instant click heals similar to the repair packs. And then we have Thor for the hammer swing dopamine hits. ILLARI is a precision hit scan support hero, and Adam Warlock does just that. Adam adds a ton of value to the team by applying tons of damage pressure from the support slot, so definitely roll with this guy. For Juno, she also has to choose between healing or dealing damage with her weapon, so I'm going to default back to Luna Snow here. Juno's big shtick is the speed ring, and Luna happens to have a speed boost built into her ultimate as well. For Kiriko, I'd say Cloak and Dagger share a lot of similar abilities. First, Kiriko's Healing Ofuda homes and tracks the target for you as long as your crosshairs were on the target. And Dagger's Dagger homes on her targets as well, whether that's for the enemy or for the teammates to heal them. When you swap to Cloak, he has an AoE invulnerability button for him and his team, which is incredible for saving people from big bursts of damage like Scarlet Witch's ultimate, for example. So to me, that sounds like Kiriko's Suzu, which is why this is my top recommendation. Lifeweaver's a tough one, but after playing a ton of Jeff today on launch, I'd probably lean towards him. Both heroes are kind of the defensive, low damage, high healing supports with incredibly slippery abilities. The Swallow ultimate from Jeff is kind of like Lifeweaver's Life Grip, where you can absolutely clutch and save a teammate or troll them if you swallow them by accident or grip them by accident, right? Unfortunately, Lucio is such a unique hero that there are no heroes and rivals with close similarities. Luna Snow has her skates and, the healing and speed boost aura built into her ultimate, but that's where the similarity ends. In the neutral, in general, they don't really overlap too much. Now, the Reddit Lucio style of, offensively speeding in to kill the backline also doesn't exist in the support category, but maybe you could get away with trying Iron Fist with his wall runner passive just to specifically gank enemy Widow players. Mercy is such an iconic hero in Overwatch, but in Rivals, there isn't a hero that plays like her at all at this time. There's a few heroes with small similarities in their kits, like Adam Warlock has a res in his ultimate that can, res multiple people. But other than that, he's a very offensive DPS-oriented support, which is a complete opposite unless you're a Battle Mercy connoisseur. Now for the passive Mercy players who just kind of want to chill, I really don't know. Maybe some Mantis to just click a few times on a teammate to heal them. Maybe Jeff for the chill heal beam. Rivals demands a ton of active presence from all their heroes, so this one's kind of tough. Let me know what you guys think. Moira's closest similarity is actually not even in the support category, as we have to move back to the DPSs and look at Scarlet Witch. Yes, so if you're a TikTok flanking DPS Moira, Scarlet Witch is actually the hero for you, because she has very easy sucking beam to deal damage, and then she can fade out whenever she's in danger. An honorable mention is Cloak and Dagger, where Cloak has a similar suck ability, but has the benefit of being in that support or strategist category, so you can heal your team if that's your vibe. Finally, for Zenyatta, he's the last hero we need to cover. Mantis is probably the best recommendation. She throws out her projectile primary fires in a similar tempo to Zenyatta, and she can damage boost or heal allies just like how Zen puts out his Harmony and Discord orbs. Mantis's ultimate, Soul Resurgence, acts like Transcendence, where it's an AoE heal, but it has the added benefit of giving movement speed and converting the excess healing into bonus health. But hey, play Mantis. She's actually really good right now. And that is my list. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.